You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steeler Nation. It is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network on a Thursday. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson a week away from the NFL Draft. Getting started as things are getting crazy around these parts. And we are fired up and ready to go for another day of draft talk here on The Drive, Matt.
Yeah, again, it's just more of the same, getting quicker. The snowball is getting bigger and bigger, rolling downhill. The avalanche is coming. Let's go, man. I'm ready to rock.
Going to hit a bunch of tweets and YouTube comments throughout the show today. We're going to talk a little Nate Tice big board. We're going to have a conversation that we teased yesterday, maybe a prospect or two that we think could climb up into the first round that isn't being discussed enough, and someone who could, someone who's being mostly mocked in the first round that could fall out and wouldn't surprise us too much. But we begin today, Matt, with the latest, our kind of mock draft of the day, Todd McShay's final mock draft ahead of the NFL draft.
Yeah, he's very dialed in. He has a lot of movement in this draft. He explains every pick if people want to go check that out too. And been talking about Todd a lot because he does, The Ringer has a whole page dedicated, kind of like The Beast. I mean, a real interactive page of all their stuff. And his, I don't call him a sidekick, that's selling him short, but Steve Mensch also works with him. All three of us were hired together at the same time as Scouts Inc. guys at ESPN way back when. So I wish them the best.
Here's what McShay has to say. Number 1, the Raiders select Fernando Mendoza.
Certainly.
Number 2, the Jets, David Bailey out of Texas Tech. I continue to see this more and more, Matt, and I know. I don't really know what to think about it. I did see that yesterday they canceled their pre-draft meeting with David Bailey. I don't know how much stock to put into that.
Okay.
There always could be a million different reasons why. One could be because they've decided they're not taking him second, but it could also be for a million different reasons, scheduling conflicts.
They're getting up against it in terms of scheduling and stuff, too.
God forbid, like someone had a personal family issue or something that they had to attend to.
There could be something like that.
A lot of different things that could happen. But McShay has David Bailey going second here to the Jets.
Hearing it more and more, I would lean towards Reese, but I understand it. I have some as a top edge pass rusher, he'd be kind of low on my list, of guys that are first or second in their respective class, which I think speaks to the class around him more than him. But good player. I get what they're after.
Absolutely, some pass rush help that they can continue to build up that foundation there.
It's not the best year to pick 2 or 3.
No, it is not.
Yeah, that's for sure.
No, it's not. The Saints trade up to pick 3 with New Orleans and nab Arvell Reese. The Saints trade pick 8, pick 42, and a second rounder from next year to the Cardinals for pick number 3. I think if I'm the Cardinals, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think the Cardinals and Browns at the top of the draft are the ones looking to go backwards the most.
You drop back 5 spots, you pick up 2 extra second-round picks. That's a no-brainer.
You still might get Malagoa.
It's a no-brainer.
Right. They need, and plus those teams need a lot on their roster. I think the Cardinals, whether they take him or not, would be the happiest team ever for Bailey to go 2, so Reese is sitting there for 3. Because I think more people
really
call
some phone calls.
I think more people would call for Reese than Bailey.
Agreed.
Now, I don't know that Bailey could get past the Titans at 4. I think that's their target.
Okay.
Would they swap, a 3-4 move or something just to make sure they get him or something like that? Maybe. But I think more teams would be after Reese. I think he's a rarer prospect, a more talented player. And I find it interesting that Todd picked the Saints because for the first time in well over a decade, deep into the Drew Brees era, they're actually kind of out of debt. They actually have picks and they have a little bit of cap
veggies for a couple years, like you like to say. And
they are traditionally a move-up team. Like the one year they got Penning and Olave, and they're aggressive. They've always been aggressive. I say it all the time. It's Mardi Gras in New Orleans every day, and they don't care about the hangover,
It's a great line. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans take Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame.
Okay. I think that's highly possible.
Highly possible. Not a foregone conclusion, but definitely a real possibility.
I would think they'd take Bailey ahead of him. I don't know if they'd take Reese ahead of him just in terms of scheme fit. I mean, I think they want a true D end, not a edge, linebacker type. I get taking Love, especially in this draft. But the reality is these teams that take backs this high, their win totals really don't change. The Barkleys and Bijans and Fournette wasn't as good as those guys, but he went super high. McCaffrey as a Panther. A lot of them, when they really change win totals, when they go to their second team.
When they go to their second
team,
go to the good
it's
team. A contender,
right,
and then they put them over the top.
They're cherry on top.
Yes.
Yes.
5, the New York Giants select Francis Maui-Noa, offensive lineman out of the U.
And they would probably just plug him in at guard and maybe leave him there because they have 2 tackles. I still think that's a Ohio State Styles or Downs. I just think he sees Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
It'd be tough to pass. With both of those guys still on the board, it'd be tough for Harbaugh to pass on both.
Oh, this is McShay's mock because I actually heard it. Todd's funny because he's very self-aware. He's kind of in a different space now than he was in his ESPN days. He's not on TV as much and he does things differently. And he pulls back the curtain a little bit more, like on his personal life and whatnot. But he even said on the podcast, the subsequent one after this, he's like, if I could change anything in my top 6, I would have had Styles going to the Giants, which I know affects his next pick because he is Dallas, just like all the mocks we went over yesterday, coming up to 6 to get a defensive player. But he also doesn't think Dallas would be 100% married to Styles either. They still might come up for a defensive player.
Sure.
Banks or somebody like that. Or not Banks, Downs. Yeah.
Number 6, for the third time in 3 straight mock drafts here. So Dane Brugler, Mel Kiper, and Todd McShay all have the Cowboys trading up to pick number 6 with the Cleveland Browns to select linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State.
Just seems like a lot of smoke.
Cowboys, but see, this is a little different because in the other mocks that we did yesterday from Brugler and Kiper, they had the Cowboys trading both of their first-round picks.
Yeah.
And then I think getting like a third-rounder back in return or something, too. This says Cowboys trade 12 and 92 from this year and their second-rounder from next year to the Browns for pick 6. So this schematic's a little bit different.
Yeah, and again, I just remember what Todd was saying on the podcast. He says Dallas is very, very much, at least what his intel. All these guys get their intel from whoever. Dallas is very, very much excited and ambitious about moving up into this neighborhood to get a blue chip defender, whoever that might be. Could be Bailey. I mean, whoever that might be. But they really would love to figure out a way to do it without trading their second first-round pick.
Sure.
And they're one of the few teams that don't mind trading next year's picks as much because they think they're going to be really good next year and they're going to be late in the rounds. I get that. I mean, I don't know, it's easier said than done. If I'm the Browns, I might be like, I need both those first,
If New Orleans every day is Mardi Gras and they don't care about the hangover, I guess the Cowboys is every day is a all-you-can-eat brisket buffet.
Yeah, right.
And they don't care about the bubble guts the next morning.
Everything's bigger in Texas, yeah. Oil and right, yeah.
7, the Jets trade up with the Commanders. Pick 16, 44, and 140 to move up to number 7 to nab Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Pretty good way to ignite a fan base, that has to be pretty down on things. If you could walk out of there with 2 top 7 players, one on each side of the ball.
Not bad.
Whether you took Bailey or whoever, or Reese at 2, that's pretty fun. Put Tate next to another Buckeye and Wilson, and
So the Cardinals back on the clock here from the trade with the Saints. They take Spencer Fanu, offensive lineman out of Utah, at pick 8. I think
probably isn't that much different than what they've done at 3, even if that was Maui Goa.
I would say to them, you can have Maui Goa or you can have Fanu and 2 extra second-round picks.
I'm not sure who I might even prefer Fanu. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they might prefer Fanu. They're probably about the same.
Number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State.
Again, this is 3 mocks in a row with people that are dialed in that have him going high. I get the impression the league is, he works out tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So obviously he must feel like he's healthy. The league probably agrees if everyone in the world thinks he's going 10-ish. I can see it.
Speaking of 10, the Cincinnati Bengals, they take Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State.
Is that probably his floor?
Yeah.
I tend to think so.
I'd be surprised. I mean, he is a safety, but for Cincinnati, like, because some of the guys that we've talked about them taking before, the Mansour Delanes of the world, like, they're still on the board, but you could get potentially one of the blue chip guys.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we don't think about this stuff as much in Pittsburgh because there's never a problem with having interest around the Steelers and selling tickets and selling jerseys and merch.
Right.
But in Cincinnati, there is. You get an Ohio State guy.
Matters,
it's the most popular football team in the state.
Right.
In Pennsylvania, it's Steelers 1, Eagles 2, then probably Penn State might be 3.
It's Buckeyes.
In Ohio, it's Ohio State 1, Ohio State 2, Ohio State 3, and then it might be the Browns or the Bengals, number 4. Number 11, the Miami Dolphins select Mansour Delane out of LSU. So he falls out of the top 10, but doesn't have to wait very long.
Yeah.
12, the Browns, after the trade with the Cowboys, they select Caden Proctor, offensive lineman out of Alabama.
I could see why they're in love with him. I mean, that's a lot of speculation, but a lot of people seem to link Proctor with the Browns. So I was listening to a podcast on the way here that was Brandon Thorne, the Athletics host, and Dane was on. It's the Athletic Football Podcast. And they had 2 guests on, just as an O-line episode. And they asked immediately, who is the offensive lineman? Robert Mays is a host. I should have known that. He's very good at his job as well. Who is the offensive lineman with the highest upside in this draft? And I thought he'd say Max, to be honest with you. And I had to hit pause and get out of the car, but I have a feeling he's going to be the next guy that they mentioned. But he said Proctor.
Interesting.
And he said,
just because the body type and the build. And
yeah. I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of fat on his body. Frankly, O-linemen his weight haven't had great success, and some of them do stick around the Orlando Browns and whatnot, but they're rarely dominant players. Or like Becton had one good year at guard, and then a lot of them have a hard time staying healthy too. Mm-hmm. But he's built differently in those guys. Like, he just doesn't have nearly as much fat on his body. They were really Dane was really digging into his background, that no one has any concerns about his work ethic. Most of those guys, you just picture them sitting around eating 5 pizzas at night, not showing up for workouts. And, he's just huge, and what they were talking about too is his workouts that I knew he worked out well. He worked out well at the combine, but like, they were citing some people that were at his pro day and said it's the best offensive line workout I've ever seen.
Wow.
And that, like, if you just look like his jumps and his movement stuff, for any football player at the combine that's 350 or more, he blows everybody else's doors off.
Interesting.
It's easy to look at a spreadsheet and be like, oh, he had a 32-inch vertical. He was 360. Like, no one does that. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's a very interesting evaluation.
If he's there at 21, I mean, if he just always is a guard. Like, remember I did that guard list and then tackle list? He was really low on the tackle list, but he's really high on the guard list. If you only look, like, if Venga's gone and it's like, I just seen a left guard, he might be one of the best in the league, He's a very interesting. But I can see both sides of it. I could be his defense attorney and his prosecuting attorney in a big way.
If I was a prosecuting attorney, I'd just say he showed up to Alabama camp at 390 pounds, and that's not going to work in the NFL. But
I bet he's been 400 in his life.
I would be shocked if he wasn't.
Right.
13, the LA Rams select Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC.
That seems kind of chalky, too.
He stays in Southern California.
I think that's going to be a receiver. If Lemon's there or Tyson, I think it's one of those guys.
A lovely place to live if you have that kind of money. 14, the Baltimore Ravens select edge rusher Ruben Bain Jr. out of the U. Wow, interesting. I think it's the first time I've seen him mocked to Baltimore in one of these.
Yeah, I didn't dig into this heavy, but it's definitely the latest I've seen Bain go. First time I've seen him go, well, that would make sense, to the Ravens. Often this is a Sadiq, Fanu, Venga landing spot. Fanu and Venga are the ones I don't want to land in Baltimore. For many reasons, but I mean, especially for who the Steelers can select in round one.
Sure. 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From the U to the U, they take Akeem Messidor, edge rusher, out of Miami.
I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick.
Okay. It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Because we are going to have an hour number 2, our fall into the first round, fall out of the first round conversation, but my fallout guy is Messidor.
Yeah. I mean.
Do you want to know something crazy?
He's just old and injured.
So last night, we're recording the WVU show that I do last night, and we're talking, the spring game is Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So
Fun.
we're talking spring games and recruiting classes. I think so. Because originally I didn't think I was going to be able to go to because I thought I was going to be at Penn's Flyers in the afternoon, but it just got announced Penn's Flyers is at 8 o'clock Saturday night, so I think I can do both.
Okay.
That's
a sporting day.
Might take the kids to Morgantown in the morning, spring game at noon.
Spring game fun?
Yeah, it's a blast.
Oh, okay.
You could park right next to the stadium.
Okay. You get close.
It's great to take the girls.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah. Weather's good.
Weather's good.
Right,
it's a fun day out. It's free. You can sit wherever you want. It takes
There's fewer drunken lunatics, I assume.
It takes 30 seconds to go to the. There's never any lines for the bathroom or the concessions. It's just easy
Cotton
with the
candy
girls.
for the kids or something.
The band's there playing, so the girls think it's a real game and they love it and all that. It's just it's a fun, easy, cheap day out.
And you're also not on the edge of your seat, don't go for it on 3rd and 8 or
exactly right. It's 3rd and 8. And my daughter's tugging on my sleeve because she needs to use the bathroom. Exactly. Exactly right. So yesterday we're doing the show, and I'm going through some recruiting stuff because I was talking about how I'm excited to see Matt Sieg, who is the 4-star safety from Fort Cherry right down the road, who flipped from Penn State to WVU on signing day. And I was going through recruiting class stuff from the past. You realize Akeem Messidor was the same. He was the same recruiting class at WVU as Zach Frazier.
Wow. Wow. Going into year 3.
Think about that. Zach Frazier was a 4-year guy at WVU. He didn't come out after he was a true classic 4 years in college guy. Him and Messidor were in the same recruiting class.
Wow.
Coming out of high school. This guy's old, man.
This won't shock you because you're more dialed in with college than I am, but I noticed it especially in the Beast. You know how he does his list, and then it's 5th year senior or 3rd year whatever. There's a lot of 7th year seniors and there's a lot of dudes that are way older than the people they were blocking or whatever. I mean, it's a crazy Wild West situation.
And I understand all it takes is one coaching staff, one front office who says we need to win games this year or we're all getting canned.
And I think that's why I put them to Tampa, because I think their seat's hot and they need to win now and win that division.
But if those teams pass on them, I could see it.
He just seems like a round 2 guy because the reason he lasted the reason he's been in school so long is because of injuries too.
Yeah.
It's not because,
Right. He was in the same recruiting class as Zach Frazier at WVU in 2020. 16, the Commanders trade. Remember, this was the Jets moving up for the Commanders pick 7 here.
Oh,
so
right.
The Commanders on the clock with their
They must
first.
have got a lot for this pick then.
They got 16, 44, and 140.
Which the Jets can afford, but good for the Commanders because they don't have a lot of mid-round picks after their moves last year.
And they take Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana.
Yeah. Again, these experts, these mocks we've been talking about the last 2 days of people I trust, less and less assurance that he's going to be there at 21. I mean, the league seems to be quite high on him.
I think he's one of the rapid risers right now.
Yeah.
17, the Lions take Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson.
I think it's him or Proctor.
Maybe Freeling too.
Yeah. Those two just have more of a tougher play demeanor, ankle biter type.
Dan Campbell type.
Yeah.
Vikings at 18 take Denzel Boston. Wow.
He's another one that's...
But I guess if they're not going to pick up or if they're not going to extend Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I think they're afraid of paying him.
19, the Panthers take Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon.
I like that fit a lot. I've seen the Ravens. I've seen Tampa.
They need some more dynamic pieces on that offense.
I think that would really help Bryce Young.
20, the Cowboys take Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee.
I don't think he's going to last nearly that long. The more I watched him and Delane, I just turned in my cornerback ranks last night. I think they're heads and shoulders above everybody else.
I think we talked about this yesterday, but there's a big gap there.
Yeah.
It almost, not quite to the same extent, but almost like the Jeremiah Love gap to other. And there's going to be.
You can fight about who's number 3.
Yeah,
but,
Colton Hood and Brandon Cisse and those guys. Is it Johnson out of San Diego State? They could all go at the back half of the first round, absolutely. But I think those two are the clear cut.
I think those two are blue chip type guys.
Yeah. So still on the board, Monroe Freeling, Dylan Theneman, Casey Concepcion. Some interesting options for the Steelers. And McShay has them selecting from State College, Venga Ioane, guard out of Penn State.
I'd love it. I mean, I think that's a run to the podium situation. Maybe even consider trading up ahead of Tampa's another landing spot for him that would scare me. Another thing that they were talking about on the podcast I was listening to, because I agree, and Brandon said the same thing. He's like, I think he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. That doesn't mean he's going to go first, but I think he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. Something I'm going to do for Steelers.com that finishes up the Triple Take series is just rank your top 10 offensive prospects and your top 10 defensive prospects. We should just go to that next week or whatever.
Yeah.
He might be my second ranked offensive player behind Love.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about positional
Sure,
value
yeah.
or, Mendoza should go ahead of him. I'm not saying
Absolutely.
he shouldn't.
Absolutely.
But who's the best offensive prospect in this draft? I think it's Love. Then he's in the conversation for 2. I mean,
That'd be a pretty good get at
Yeah.
21.
And like Dane was saying in The Beast, if you notice The Beast, he says, I'd like to have at least 5 bullet points of the strengths column and the negative column. He's like, one of my bullet points for the negative was he's only played left guard.
Like you're kind of reaching a
right.
little
He's
bit.
like, I'm really reaching because he was a dominant left guard. Why would they move him away from left guard?
Sure.
It's like Randy Moss has only played wide receiver. It's like, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
can't
right.
believe
Right, It's pretty cool, though.
Alan Fanika's only playing left
Only
guard. I
playing
don't
left guard.
understand
He's
it here.
the best
What's
one in the
going on?
country and the best one in the NFL. Why would I move him?
Let's take a break here. When we return, we'll buzz through the rest of the first round here and who McShay has the Steelers picking in the second round, along with a couple other notable trades that he has predicted here as well. Just getting started on this Thursday. Uhler, Williamson, it's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.
What's up, NFL fans? The NFL Draft is finally here. And while you might not know who your team is drafting this year, you do know your watch party's #1 pick, Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste that has all the scouts talking. Guess that's why it's been the group's go-to draft beer season after season. Be sure to order a round for the table before your team's on the clock. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Mocking here in the first hour with McShay as he has the Steelers selecting Venga Ioane out of Penn State at pick 21.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, I'm really warming up to that. Not only being possible, but being maybe the #1 thing that I would like to see. But I've still got a week or so here to let it marinate.
Yep, that's pretty much in the same spot there.
So let's buzz through the rest of this first round, second round, where McShay has the Steelers going there, because this is a 2-round mock from McShay, by the way. 22, the Bears trade up a few spots with the Chargers to nab Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon.
Okay, so 2 notes here. The Chargers at 22 really need a guard. They could be the trade to 21, break the Steelers' hearts team. You know what I mean? Trade to 20.
Or 19 or 18.
Or whatever like that. Just, I hope that doesn't come to fruition, knock on wood, but that is such a Harbaugh-type move. They're a scary team for me to jump ahead of you. Just when you think you got your guard that you love, they could be swiped right out from under you. But another team that many people keep projecting to move up is the Bears. So I think that if the Steelers trade down, their guy isn't there or whatever, the Bears absolutely could be in the Thieneman move. Maybe to 21, maybe to 22. So I think there's some fire to that too.
Oh, it's always a lot to ponder. 23, the Eagles select Monroe Freeling out of Georgia.
Wow. Just put him at guard for now, and maybe he's Lane Johnson's replacement or whatever.
And, I mean, hey, Lane Johnson did miss 8 games last year. He's 36. Hey, maybe you can give him some time to develop if he needs it.
Yeah,
If not, I think that would make sense for Philadelphia.
I think
That's
receiver is also a possibility because I
Absolutely.
think A.J. Brown's getting moved.
Absolutely. 24, the Cleveland Browns break Matt Williamson's heart and select Casey Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M.
Well, I mean, after you take Venga, you're probably not going to get Concepcion.
Nope, don't think so. The Chargers at 25, after trading with the Bears, they nab Chris Johnson out of San Diego State.
Okay, I think he's going to go in the first round. I mentioned I did the corner ranks. He was my 3rd corner.
26, the Buffalo Bills take Keldrick Falk, edge rusher out of Auburn.
All right.
27, the Niners. This is starting to become popular. Caleb Lomu, the other offensive lineman out of Utah.
Yep.
And at 28, if you thought Matt Williamson's heart was broken with Casey Concepcion being gone, his heart is shattered into 1,000 pieces like a Taylor Swift song after the Houston Texans take Max Ianachor at pick 28.
I can stomach it if you have Venga, then I'm not crying as much,
29, the Chiefs select Colton Hood, the other cornerback out of Tennessee. And then at pick number 30, the Cardinals trade up 4 spots
Simpson,
with the Dolphins to nab Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama.
Makes all the sense in the world. I think you really want that fifth-year option. He's been linked to Arizona a lot. He's been linked to the Jets a little. But the Jets have so many picks next year. I think you hold out.
Yeah,
I agree. And aim bigger if I'm them.
Patriots at 31 take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety out of Toledo. And the Seahawks close down the first round with T.J. Parker, the edge rusher from Clemson.
Nothing too earth-shattering there.
Into round 2, the Texans leading things off after the trade. They take Caden McDonald, defensive lineman out of Ohio State.
Yeah, and it might have been Mel's mock that had him taking Kristen Miller as the first defensive tackle off the board. If I'm Houston, and they've traded down a lot over the years, I'll gladly get out of round 1 if somebody wants to come up for Simpson or whatever. If I'm going to take a run-stuffing defensive tackle, I mean, I'm going to get – you don't have to – I mean, you can get that guy 6-7 picks later.
So, sorry, it was actually he had Houston trading up, pardon me, from 38 to 33 to start the second round to take Caden McDonald.
Oh, so they moved –
38 to 33 with the Jets.
But they didn't make a first-round pick. So
no, they did. It was Max. Mad Max.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Boy, that's some beef. Grab those.
Mad Max and Caden McDonald. Good Lord.
Wow.
34, the Dolphins. This was with the Ty Simpson trade for Arizona. They take Tre'Dan Stukes out of Arizona.
He's gaining a lot of steam, too. I think he was in for a visit, too.
He'd be a good one for the fall in to the climb into the first round, fall out conversation. Tennessee Titans at 35 take Zion Young, the edge rusher, out of Mizzou.
That's their style.
36, the Raiders take Chase Bisontis, guard out of A&M.
Dane, that podcast was mentioned, Dane kept bringing him up as a first-round potential guy, too.
Giants get another wide receiver to add. It's Chris Bell out of Louisville at pick 37.
I wish I knew more about his medicals because I think he's absolutely fascinating.
Jets at 38 take Peter Woods, defensive lineman out of Clemson. Browns at 39 take Gabe Akis, the edge rusher out of Illinois. Chiefs on the clock again at 40. Oh, man, I think they'd like this. Eli Stowers, the tight end out of Vandy.
That's a good situation.
That's a good situation for them. At 41, the Cincinnati Bengals. I would hate this because I think this guy could be really good. It's Malachi Lawrence, the edge rusher out of UCF.
Yeah.
For the Bengals. We'll talk a little bit more about him in hour number 2.
That'd be Lawrence and Downs. Okay.
that'd be a nice boost to that defense.
That's a good place to start.
The Cardinals, after the New Orleans trade here, they take Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M, so back-to-back edge rushers off the board.
So if they were considering a Reese or a Bailey at 3, you get a lesser version, but you still get a dynamic edge rusher, you know?
And then at 43, the Dolphins take Keelan Rutledge, the guard out of Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think he's going to go high.
Man, him and Anthony Weaver next to each other on the interior of an offensive line.
It's not
would
Weaver,
be,
it's Weaver's the D coordinator.
Sorry, yeah.
Brewer, yeah.
Weaver's the old D coordinator from Miami, pardon me, not the center. Yeah, Aaron Brewer versus Anthony Weaver. Again, we mix up names all the time, but at least these two were from the same. That's a nice
place to start,
at least these two were from the same organization. Yeah, those two next to each other on the interior of an offensive line would be nasty to deal with. 44, the Washington Commanders take Avion Terrell, corner out of Clemson.
Okay.
45.
They have a need.
Oh man, the
Terrell
Ravens.
fell out of my top 5 corners.
He's a little some of the movement and concerns.
Really
yeah.
worrisome.
Ravens at 45 take Emmanuel Pregnon, guard out of Oregon.
It's a nice consolation prize for them, and you don't take Venga.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, see, what's a little different, we kind of had this conversation yesterday, but I hadn't thought of this angle till just now. You know, like, I forget who tweeted us and said, if the Ravens kicker makes the kick and the Steelers have their pick and the Ravens have the Steelers pick, blah, blah, blah. And we know that's not exactly a one-for-one swap. But the Steelers would be in that same situation where round 2, you feel a lot better chance of getting Pregnon or Bersantis than at 53.
Absolutely.
So maybe you do take Sadiq or whoever if you're picking
and you're
where
like,
the Ravens
we're gonna have a quality option for our offensive line there at pick 45.
And I'm trying to like kind of will it into existence too, because I don't want Fano or especially Venga to go to Baltimore because I want them to have a better chance to fall to 21, particularly Venga. And Baltimore did just go through the taking an interior lineman in the round 1 and can't pick up the 5th-year option on them nonsense. You know, that's hard to pull off.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, man, that's a lot. That's a lot to ponder there for Baltimore.
So maybe they say, I'll take Pregnon in the second round.
They were to get Ruben Bain and then Pregnon. That's not a bad one, too.
Yeah, that's nice trench.
46, the Bucks take Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech.
They've needed a linebacker for a couple of years, yeah.
47, the Colts, their first pick of the draft, DeJon Streebling. He keeps rising up boards, man, the wide receiver from Ole Miss.
Yeah, again, I mentioned I listened to Todd's podcast after this. He's like, Streetling's not getting out of the second round. I'm like, wow. And I went back and looked at him some more. He is big and explosive, and I understand it. There's some work to be done there, but I can see the attraction. Keep thinking more and more. I mean, is he an option at 53?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
48, the Falcons with their first pick take Caleb Banks, the big defensive lineman out of Florida. Man, that'd be a heck of a lottery ticket for the Falcons there with their first pick.
I'm not sure I trust them to develop and cultivate him properly, but it's worth the risk.
49, the Vikings take Christian Miller, defensive lineman from Georgia. 50, the Lions take undersized but nasty corner D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. 51, Chris Brazzell II, wide receiver from Tennessee, goes to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
52, linebacker C.J. Allen out of Georgia goes to the Packers. Remember,
I would think he'd have gone earlier than this, but I'm not sure he'd worked out yet when Todd put this out or not. So who knows?
Now, remember the Steelers in McShay's mock here took Venga Ioane at pick 21. He has the Steelers selecting Keontae Scott, corner out of Miami.
See that. I really like the player.
I do too, but
to not go wide receiver with either pick, you might have to like call Juwan Jennings or something at that point, and then use a third round. You might, or you might have to, see what's out there on the free agent market and a third round.
I like Keontae Scott too, but he's another one of those old Miami
he's older,
guys.
Old Miami dude.
Like he'll be pushing 30 by the time he gets to his second contract.
So we should at least kind of give people a quick profile on him. I mean, he's kind of the modern day big slot safety, do it all. Him and Ramsey might be interchangeable if he were to become a Steeler. I don't really want him being an outside corner, man coverage against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I mean, I don't think that's what you want him doing. But, boy, he's a really good football player, and he makes a ton of plays. Tough as the day is long. I just don't know that I could bypass a receiver here. Bernard's still available, right? I don't think we've called his name.
We have not.
I was trying to think what receivers were already gone. I wouldn't be big on like a Branch.
Still there. Yeah. Bernard's still there. Ted Hurst still there.
Mm-hmm.
I would be hard pressed to pass on a wide receiver at this point. But Keontae Scott from Miami,
he's a really good player.
He did have that big pick 6 in that win against Ohio State. 54, the Eagles take R. Mason Thomas, edge rusher out of Oklahoma. 55, the Chargers get their guard Jennings Dunker out of Iowa.
Quick favor, what did McShay list Scott as? A safety or a corner?
A corner.
Okay.
I think
nickel
by
only,
that,
but yeah. Like I think I'm going to do my safety ranks tonight and include him as a safety.
I think that's the way I would lean towards too.
Slot capable safety.
The Jags, with their first pick of the draft, they take Grayson Houghton from Oklahoma, the defensive lineman, 56th overall.
He's one of the only upfield penetrator pass rush types.
Bears nab Derek Moore, edge rusher out of Michigan at 57. Wow, this is the earliest I've seen him mocked by far. The Niners at pick 58 take Bud Clark, the safety out of TCU.
Wow. I don't even know if it's a massive need for them, but I can see why people like him. He makes a lot of plays.
He makes a lot of plays, and he's got that speed you want on the back end. But I think this is the first time I've seen him in the second round.
I've thought a lot that he might be one of the Steelers' third-round picks. It often seems in like the simulators.
I might trade pick 99 for him right now.
Yeah, and just be done.
Yeah. Brandon Cisse, the corner from South Carolina, goes to the Houston Texans at 59.
Okay, he could learn behind those two for a while, which is he needs to do.
The Bears at pick 60 take Caleb Tiernan, the tackle out of Northwestern.
That's a tough situation for them. I mean, they took a tackle in the first round or second round last year who started to look pretty decent, gets hurt in the playoff game.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Rams at 61 take Jake Galladay, linebacker out of Cincinnati. The Broncos at 62, the second running back finally comes off the board. It's Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame to the Mile High City.
I'm pretty sure he'll be RB2. I don't know where he's going to go, but I think he's going to be RB2.
The Patriots take Big Citrus, Dominique Orange out of Iowa State at pick 63.
They always have a plugging, massive, force of humanity in the middle of the defense.
As Craig Wolfley would say, if that guy was on the Titanic, they could have plugged him in the hole and made it back to port. 64, the Seattle Seahawks, to close down the second round, take Jalen Kilgore, safety out of South Carolina.
Really good athlete. He's another one. The safety is his slot corner. Probably going to list him as a safety in my ranks tonight. Wish he was a little more physical. He's a little more athlete than he is glass eater,
Glass Yes. So there's our kind of mock of the day, Todd McShay edition here on this Thursday. To close out the first hour of the show, we know some of the NFL alumni guests, the Steelers legends that are going to be making their picks. Also, some of the other names from across the NFL. A lot of people with ties to Western Pennsylvania and close by in the region. I assume that's what happened
in Nashville and other places too, but I don't know if those towns have pumped out as many pros as Pittsburgh has either.
I know when the draft was in Philadelphia in 2017, Moats made one of the picks for the Steelers. And he doesn't have any ties
to Philly. Right.
But
they just asked him, yeah.
They asked him because he was the Steelers' Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee that year, I think, is the reason that he got asked to do it.
It was while he was an active player, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And him and I always joke, like, that was before we knew each other or had ever met or started doing a show. I was still working in Philadelphia. He was still playing. But we joke, like, we probably crossed paths at some point throughout that, backstage or around the area because we were down there doing shows and he was down there making a pick for the Steelers. But that's our kind of mock of the day. Let's talk about some of those guys who will be making picks from the podium next week. Maybe get to some of your tweets here to close down the first hour as well. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. So we are just about 7 days from now from the thing really getting going down on the North Shore. Of course, the first round of the NFL Draft that begins at 8 o'clock. It'll be probably closer to 8:30 by the time Fernando Mendoza is officially a Raider because they'll do the whole pomp and circumstance and welcome to Pittsburgh and maybe national anthem or something like that, too, to kick it all off. They should go national anthem right into Renegade now that I'm thinking about it. That would really set the crowd off, but that's a different conversation for a different time. And as we know, Roger Goodell makes the pick. Thursday night, it'll be Roger Goodell making the picks.
Oh, he'll be on the stage, the whole time.
But after that, it is a plethora of different people that make these for teams.
Did that start 10 years ago or so?
I think about when they started moving the draft around and all that.
They did in Radio City all the time.
That kind of stuff, yeah. Sometimes it's a former player. Sometimes it's a collegiate legend from that area. Sometimes it's different charities or Make-A-Wish, things like that, too.
Yeah, okay.
So what we know now is the former NFL players who will be making selections at the draft.
So they have serious Pittsburgh ties, from what I understand.
A lot. I mean, there are some that are just kind of random. Like the Carolina Panthers is Jake Delhomme.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He was a good player.
Good player for them, led them to a Super Bowl.
Quarterback,
I don't think he has any ties.
Not that I know of him.
Mark Ingram is making the pick for the Ravens. I don't think he has any ties to Pittsburgh. But there are a lot of these that obviously have ties to Pittsburgh, to Western Pennsylvania, to the surrounding region, if you will. You'll see where I'm going with that. There's a couple Penn State and WVU guys on this list. I'm kind of surprised there's not more like Ohio State and Notre Dame, too, when you kind of consider the general region. But Arizona Cardinals, no surprise here. James Conner will be making.
Cool.
That is cool. Coming back to his hometown. Well, not his hometown. I guess he's from Erie, but where he played college football. Again, general area, Western Pennsylvania.
Right. And he's a Western PA guy.
He's a Western PA guy who, deservedly so, has a lot of respect around here.
And he also played for the Steelers, which adds
to it, too. Correct.
Yeah.
And just an incredible story is James Conner's career and
he'll get a big ovation.
Life. He should get a big ovation, absolutely. The Atlanta Falcons, it's going to be Michael Turner, who is their special NFL alumni guest. Ravens, like I mentioned, Mark Ingram. Buffalo Bills, Shane Conlon out of Penn State.
Penn Stater,
is going to be the pick for Buffalo. Carolina, Jake Delhomme. Of course, as I mentioned, the Chicago Bears, Jimbo Covert.
Pitt legend.
The first-round pick from 1983.
Can't remember if Pitt retired his number or not.
I think.
When you walk through the indoor, they're all right there.
Do they actually retire the numbers, or do they just have like a Ring of Honor thing?
There's a couple retired numbers.
Okay.
Larry's is the most recent.
Okay.
Fralick's retired. Hugh Green's retired.
Marino?
Danny's retired.
Dorsett.
I don't think Covert is. Dorsett is. Okay. Yeah, there's like 7 or 8.
Because I know that they have the banners that they bring up on game days that they hang from the rotundas.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of Ring of Honor. If like Kenny Pickett's in there, but I don't think his number's retired.
No, and it won't be. Right. Yeah. I mean, it took Larry a while before one was retired.
I mean, that's kind of the way it should be. Like, I bet you didn't they just retire Aaron Donalds?
Might be recently.
I think for the game day with Notre Dame was there and all that.
TV's giving us a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yes. Cincinnati Bengals, a name that we've discussed a little bit this offseason. Ken Anderson is going to make the pick for the Bengals. Well, I guess that was more in the Hall of Fame conversation.
That was the Hall of Fame talk. Craig went, Anderson didn't, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
exactly
LC
right.
did not.
Exactly right. The Cleveland Browns, it'll be Phil
Poor Ken Anderson had to play against Joe Green
Good
and LC.
Lord,
and,
did he ever.
I bet he has a little comment at the podium.
Cleveland Browns, it'll be Phil Dawson.
Field goal Phil.
Field goal Phil.
He was our kicker when I was there. He was old then, and he kicked like 10 years after that.
The Cowboys have announced. I hear you can do that when you're a kicker.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have announced 3 former players that will be making picks. 2 former players that will be making picks. I bet you can guess one of them.
Dorsett?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
The other one, I feel like he makes picks for the Cowboys every year, no matter where the draft is. Drew Pearson.
He loves it too, and he like plays it up. The one in Philly, he got booed like crazy,
understandably,
and played it up.
Understandably,
and,
yeah. I wonder if he'll do that here too, because obviously
he's not gonna be real popular here
Philly,
either.
But
right?
it's for the older generation, it's pretty darn close.
70s Cowboys are not gonna be real popular.
No. Denver Broncos. T.J. Ward is making their pick, announcing their pick. Detroit Lions, this is pretty cool. Megatron will be in the city. Calvin Johnson making the selection on day 2 for Detroit. For the Packers, John Kuhn, the pride of Shippensburg, baby.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans, it'll be Billy Miller.
I'm not sure if John Kuhn could go to any other city besides Green Bay and Pittsburgh and anyone know who he even is.
Totally.
Right.
Houston, it'll be Billy Miller out of USC.
Don't know who that is.
The Indianapolis Colts, I bet you can guess who it is. What famous Indianapolis Colt? Speaking of punters.
Oh, you've actually said this. Your boy. Yeah.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Your boy, Paul Postlesny.
I'm still mad at him.
Well, you're still mad at him for flipping from Pitt to Penn State.
Yeah.
He will be making the pick announcement for the Jags on day 2. Kansas City Chiefs, it's Bill Moss.
Bill Moss, yeah.
Bill Moss,
He's
pardon me.
Pitt nose tackle.
Pitt nose tackle from the 80s.
Pick, yeah.
The Raiders, it'll be Matt Millen out of Penn State, baby.
Okay.
Second round pick in 1980.
Former GM, too.
The Chargers, one of Motz's boys, Sean Merriman, will be making the selection, the day 2 selection for the Chargers. For the Rams.
We talked heavily about him the year I was in the war room for the Browns. I mean, Braylon Edwards, our number 1 guy, but we loved Merriman. We loved DeMarcus Ware. You know, I mean, like, they did a lot of work on Merriman.
For the Rams, it'll be one of my favorites of all time. Tavon Austin, former first-round pick, of course, of West Virginia University, making the pick for the Rams.
I think we've had this conversation at Sharkies or whatever, but if he played in a different era, I mean,
or if he would have just been drafted by Sean McVay's Rams instead of Jeff Fisher's Rams.
Yeah. Really unique player.
Oh, he was so much fun to watch. I was there when we played Oklahoma, and he had 429 all-purpose yards.
That's not including kickoffs,
in a single game. Yeah, no, in a single game
from scrimmage. Yeah,
he it was the one game of his college career. Dana Holgerson moved him to running back to throw off Oklahoma, and it almost worked. We lost 49-48, I think.
Not his fault for the loss.
Not his fault at all. The Dolphins, Dwight Stevenson out of second-round pick out of Alabama in 1980.
He's one of the guys that can compete with like Webby and Dirt as all-time great centers, you know.
Another Oakland tie, the Minnesota Vikings. It'll be Brian O'Neill making the pick.
Yeah, Pitt Panther, you're okay.
Pitt Panther, of course. I
don't know where he grew up, but
we saw him in Dublin.
Yeah.
The Patriots, it'll be Deion Branch. Oh, boy. Deion Branch out of Louisville making the pick. For the Saints, it'll be Marquise Colston. For the Giants, Usi Umenyiora, baby, out of Troy. I love it.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a blast from the past name. Matt, guess who it's going to be for the New York Jets?
Joe Namath.
Close. Curtis Martin.
That's another Hall of Famer, though.
Another Hall of Famer.
From right
another
around
Pitt
these
tie.
parts. Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles.
He'll get a big ovation, too.
Okay, Philadelphia Eagles. If you could guess this one, I'll be impressed because it's a Pennsylvania college tie, just not one that you would think.
Not getting it.
Brian Westbrook out of Villanova will be the
I
pick
wouldn't have got that
for the Eagles.
Maybe I'd have grabbed it if I had multiple choice.
The Steelers will have 4 different alumni making picks in some capacity. Jerome Bettis. Well, I guess I shouldn't say alumni because one's a current player in Joey Porter Jr., Joey Porter Sr., and John Stallworth.
Very cool.
All 4 of those guys will make a pick at
That's
some
some big-time
point.
dudes, yeah. I mean, Stalls and Bettis, come on.
San Francisco 49ers, you got to guess who the pit man is here.
I feel like there's some low-hanging fruit here, too.
Another punter.
Oh, I want to. Oh, Andy. No. Andy Lee.
Andy Lee's making the pick for the Niners.
Is he?
He sure is.
He was our punter when I was there. Andy's great.
Couple more here for the Seahawks. It'll be Cliff Averill, Purdue alumni, 3rd-round pick in 2009. Ooh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rondé Barber will be the selection for Tampa Bay. That guy is like, I'm trying to think of what a good equivalent is. But on the other side of the state, they hate him. because he made the pick six that closed down Veterans Stadium in 2002 and beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship in the last game ever at their legendary stadium out there. The Tennessee Titans, I think other than Joey Porter Jr., the only other current active player that's on this list, Jeffrey Simmons will make the pick for the Titans. Will make a pick for the Titans, I should say. And then last but not least,
James
the Washington.
Conner. There's another one.
Oh,
active.
You're right. Correct. Yes. And then finally, the Washington Commanders, it'll be Mark Rypien making a pick.
Rypien.
Is it Rypien? Is that how he pronounces it? Okay, of course. He was
one of those quarterbacks that started a super Gibbs took 3 or 4 different quarterbacks right in a row there, basically the Super Bowl. He was one of them, but didn't do much else.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good list.
A lot of Pitt representation there. Some Penn State,
Crowd's
some WVU. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And Curtis Martin, Dorsett. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, McAfee's gonna be crazy too. I'm sure.
I'm sure he will have a few things to say without a doubt. I mean, Rondé Barber's a television personality. Mm-hmm. Sean Merriman's a media personality. I'm
just thinking who's going to get the crowd as excited. I mean, obviously Stallworth and Bettis and Porter. I
bet you Mark Ingram will do some poking and prodding too in his Ratburn purple. That'll be fun. Hour in the books, another hour to go. In hour number 2, we'll take a look at Nate Tice's big board. We'll talk about who we think can jump up into the first round, fall out of the first round, and we will, of course, get to your questions, comments, concerns, and reactions from YouTube and from the X Twitter. All of that and more in hour number 2. Uhler, Williamson, it's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 of The Drive here on this Thursday. And we have got to get into a big board here. Final big board from one of our guys that we know that's been a guest at the Combine before. Nate Tice, of course, of Yahoo Sports. Former college football quarterback, was teammates with Russell Wilson at Wisconsin.
Yeah, Mike Tice's son. Yeah, does real good work for Yahoo.
He sure does, and he was one of our favorite. We get some awesome guests. It's impossible to pick our favorite when we're out at the Combine, but he is one of our favorites, certainly around this time of year.
No doubt. I've not read it, but I was really impressed. He writes up every prospect pretty in depth here. Like a lot of the times you'll see these big boards. It's like one blurb or, a sentence or two. But Nate took some time, and there's like a pretty beefy paragraph on all these guys. For a lot of you guys that are listening that are kind of new to the draft or just tuning in because the draft's right around the corner, might be a good place to start. That's a pretty digestible but also pretty good write-up in terms of learning these guys' thumbnails,
Sure. It makes a ton of sense. It really does. And no surprise. Actually, I guess this kind of is surprising when you consider that it's a big board. Mm-hmm. Not surprising, but just notable. He has Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall.
Mm-hmm. And coincidentally, Nate, a former quarterback, had like a 30-minute interview with Mendoza last week.
It was pretty good.
And it was really good. Yeah, it was really good. And then you could see them kind of comparing notes and some of the intricacies of the position. And Mendoza's not afraid to shy away from what he needs to work at, things like that. So I thought that was pretty good.
Really likes the comparison to Matt Ryan, just with a little more athleticism and a little more size to him. I did find it funny too. So the first thing that I did when I was looking through this was all right, well, where has he got the other quarterbacks?
Yeah, he also did a nice write-up about comparing Simpson and Nussmeier.
Yes,
you can find.
And he has Nuss ranked as QB2 ahead of Ty Simpson.
I didn't look at the list, but are they real close?
Yes. Nuss was 40th overall. Simpson was 44th.
And he sees a lot of similarities in the two.
Yeah. Little early scout for you. Last night in our
I'm glad you bring this up.
In our weird worlds of Matt Williamson and Wes Uhler, where we find ourselves sitting around in the evenings thinking about football things. I was on my laptop doing some work after recording our WVU show, and college football was fresh on my mind, and I just opened up a notes, and I'm thinking about quarterbacks, and I was like, let me jot down the names that I think we'll talk about in around campus next year.
Yeah.
We've talked so much about how it's going to be a quarterback-heavy class.
That it could get maybe first-round buzz.
How many do I think that could get first, or certainly, top 100 type buzz?
Maybe starters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in a 5 minutes of sitting there, I came up with 10 legitimate names. 10!
Wow.
Just quarterbacks that I think could be top 50, top 100 picks next year.
I know you know the names, and we'll go over them so much starting probably next week or week after, could move on next year. But how many of them have to come out?
That's a good question.
I mean, I know Chambliss will have to come out finally. I don't understand college eligibility very well. And I don't know if you even do.
I don't think many people do. Sellers, I think, will have to come out. Chambliss will have to come out. Mateer will have to come out. Sam Levitt, I think, will have to come out. Brandon Sorsby will have to come out.
Moore, because he was on the fence.
Yeah, but I think he could even have
he
one
could
more
still,
year.
yeah.
I think
Arch
could.
doesn't have to come out,
Arch,
right?
I think Arch could have another year if he wanted to. I think Jaden Miava from USC has to come out. I think Julian Sayin from Ohio State could have another year if he wanted to.
I thought he was kind of young.
I think Marcel Reed from Texas A&M could have another year if he wanted to.
Okay, so
but
some
again,
will have a
there's
decision.
So much clarity, because remember, we didn't get a final answer on Trinidad Chambliss until a month ago.
No, I know, it's nuts, right? But he's done, though, right? I mean, he's got
after this, he's done. Yeah. Yes. So Mendoza, number 1 on his big board. Nate Tice, number 2 is Arvell Reese.
Okay. I think Reese would be my 1.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't hate that.
Love would be really high, too, if you're not counting positional value.
This year, maybe, and I'd have to actually go back and look to really back this up, but I feel like this year, more than ever before, it's harder to pick who is just number 1 on your big board.
The hardest year I can remember.
3, Jeremiah Love, running back Notre Dame. 4, Sonny Styles, Ohio State. There's a big curveball coming up here soon. 5, Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams. That's the quarterback for the Bears. Caleb Downs, Ohio State. So 3 of those Ohio State guys
they're the blue chip
in the
guys.
top 5.
Yeah.
6, Monroe Freeling out of Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
Left tackle with excellent size and frame who can add more weight. He's an easy mover who can get to the second level in a hurry with agility and balance to adjust to a moving target in space.
I bet he goes really high. I mean, top 15 for sure. First half of the first round, I think, for sure.
There's always one of those that we're not surprised he gets taken in the first round, just how highly he gets taken in the first round. And if Monroe Freeling is off the board, it's 6 to the Browns.
I could see it.
Yeah. 7, Reuben Bain
Especially
Jr.
if they don't trade out.
Yeah. 7, Reuben Bain Jr. 8, Mansour Delane. 9, David Bailey. 10, Carnell Tate. 11, Max Ianachor.
Really?
Arizona State.
Okay.
Number 11 on his big board.
I teased this in the first hour. I'm going to do a 10-player big board for offense and defense for Steelers.com, as will Max, as will Pursuta. I assume Max will be in my top 10 offense.
I love it.
He says, I know Venga will, and Venga has not been mentioned.
He says Ianachor can easily be labeled as a project, but his film indicates more polish and refinement than you'd expect. He has ideal size and is an excellent athlete. Yeah, I'm bullish on Ianachor. Well, Nate, good news. So is my co-host, Matt Williamson.
Yeah.
And you're starting to make me believe too, baby.
Nate's dad was a big-time blocking tight end O-line expert guy, so Nate has some serious O-line roots.
He's got some chops in that department. 12, Keldrick Falk, edge rusher out of Auburn.
That's one I don't see.
Same.
I mean, I get that he's pretty and he can go inside, but he just doesn't make any plays.
You turn on his film and he's an excellent run defender, but you don't go in the first round of the NFL draft anymore for being an excellent run defender.
Right, and he's pretty. Yeah, I mean,
well, there's nothing wrong with being pretty. I'm pretty.
Like McDonald's a great run defender, but that's not a first-round player.
No. Jermod McCoy, 13. So he's got Delane and McCoy, 8 and 13.
I get that. They'll both be in my top 10 defense.
Maui Noah, 14. A little bit lower than we've seen for him.
Yeah, that's his, third O-lineman?
15, Denzel Boston. Woo!
There are some lovers out there, and it wouldn't shock me if the Steelers love him. I mean, I know some people are like, that's too redundant to the receivers they have.
But 2 or 3 years from now, it might not be. And what if you think he's a top 10 receiver in the league at that time?
And I don't know that being big and redundancy is a bad
It's
thing.
a bad thing.
Right. Like, we have too many good-looking receivers. We need a little guy. Like, I don't know that that's a problem. He's always where he's supposed to be. Rodgers would love him. I mean, just in terms of how this offense is set up. I mean, I think Boston could be in the mix. I would prefer to take him at like 25, though, in a trade debt.
Caleb Lomu, 16. Spencer Fanu, 17.
Wow. I bet he's a little partial to pure left tackles.
That's his reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Freeling's high, too.
Yes. Keep it going. Blake Miller at 18. Now, I know he's right side, but traditional
Still,
tackle.
Yeah. I mean, starting tackle.
19, Kenyon Sadiq. 20.
I don't know if Sadiq will make my top 10 offense.
Really?
You get there pretty quick. I mean,
True.
Mendoza's going to, Love's going to. There's
No
going to be a
doubt.
couple receivers, and there's going to be a lot. I mean, Venga's definitely. You get 10 pretty quick.
20, Peter Woods. Wow, that's pretty.
I don't
That's
see
pretty
that one
high.
either.
I'm not a big fan. 21, KC.
So this is kind of a statistical, like analytics thing. Defensive tackles under 300 pounds that don't blow up testing almost always fail, and that's Woods.
He was under 300
Yeah,
pounds.
he was like
and did not.
288 or something like that.
And that was at the combine too, where he's trying to put on weight.
Right. And he just does, and he's not a great tester, and he's not a great athlete. I mean, if you're under 300 pounds, Aaron Donald's like the poster boy, but you
Lance
need
Briggs,
to need to be a
yeah.
big time athlete,
Or no, Briggs was the linebacker.
Briggs was the linebacker.
Who was the
Tommy Harris was
Tommy
in front of
Harris.
him.
Sorry,
Yeah.
from that Bears defense.
Doesn't let you slide.
No, don't let me slide. Correct me on the spot, all right? I don't want to be a friggin' idiot out here. 21, KC
You might just
Coleman.
get a backhand. Who we got here?
Well, if Matt Williamson had longer arms, his backhand would
Right.
be more devastating. That's why I have him
You're
as
lucky Reuben Bain sitting over
I have
here,
him
right?
as a second-round mocked backhanded slapper. 21, KC. You're lucky Ruben Bates sitting over here. KC Concepcion at
He's
21.
a 22 or 21. He's going to be my wide receiver, too.
22 is where he has Venga Ioane. So a little bit lower.
I don't get that.
A little bit lower on him than we are. A little
I
bit
have a
lower,
hard time
a little bit
finding negatives
lower on
on Venga.
Fanu too, I think, than we both are.
Yeah, for sure.
He's actually other than Freeling, most of his offensive linemen are graded a little bit lower than we've seen.
Yeah. What's he say about Venga? Does he say anything negative
A
about
big
him?
guard prospect who has a wide frame and plays with a consistent, sturdy base. He has good strength, and once he latches onto a defender, it's hard for an opponent to disengage because of his strong hands. He can struggle at times to adjust to moving targets in space,
Little bit.
but his quickness and imbalance were improved in 2025. Ideally, he would play in a gap or duo-based run scheme as opposed to one that majors in zone runs, but he looks like a solid starter who can contribute right away.
Okay. I'm 99% of it's positive.
23, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State.
Yeah, that's about right.
24, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety from Toledo. 25, Dylan Theneman, the safety from Oregon.
I prefer Theneman, but
Same,
depends what
but
you're looking for.
I
Right, yeah.
like both.
Same church.
Different pew. 26, Colton Hood, the other corner out of Tennessee.
I have some questions about him, too.
He's a little handsy.
Yeah.
He's a little handsy.
I don't love his awareness.
Now, they said that about Joey Porter Jr., and he's doing all right. But
No, you can correct that.
Did take some time. 27, Chris Johnson, the corner from San Diego State. 28, big boy from Ohio State, Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle.
Be a tough guy to rank. 'Cause
Yeah.
what he does phenomenal.
But it's just how much do you prioritize
Right,
that?
right.
29, Caleb Banks out of Florida.
I had Banks as my D tackle 1 and McDonald 2, but that's really based on upside and,
Now, Matt, if you notice this, we are getting into the 30s now, and there's two big names that we have not mentioned, and I don't mean Ty Simpson. 30, TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson. 31, Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver from USC.
Yeah, I
at
didn't put 2 and 2 together on that.
31.
Wow. That's his receiver 4 from what I'm gathering. Concepcion
He had
was
Boston, he
ahead
had
of him,
Concepcion, he had Tyson, and he had
Lemon. So he was
and then Tate ahead of him. So, yeah, so 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. 32, Avion Terrell out of Clemson.
I don't know if he'd be in my top 50 at this point.
33, Caden Proctor out of Alabama at 33.
He's pretty harsh on the lineman in general.
He's a little harsh on the lineman, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another wide receiver that we've talked a lot about in the first round that he hasn't mentioned that's coming up here. Anthony Hill Jr., Texas linebacker at 34. Chase Bisontis, guard from Texas A&M at 35. Zion Young, edge rusher from Mizzou at 36. Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana at 37.
I think he's in that top 6. I don't know that if he's 6, he's not a distant 6 for me.
I get what you're saying.
You know, yeah, I think they're pretty close.
38, Akeem Messidor, edge rusher out of Miami.
I'm fine with that.
39, C.J. Allen, linebacker from Georgia. And 40, as I mentioned earlier, Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback from LSU.
I'm curious where he goes.
Me too. Ty Simpson was at 44, like I said. He's got Pons, 42. Dominic Orange, Big Citrus, 43. Let's see any other notables here. Bryce Lance at 45.
I was listening to an interview or a rundown on Pons recently, too. And I know he's tiny because I just did my corners. I had him 5. I had Banks, or not Banks, the Tennessee dude 4, Pons 5. In my original list, I'm just like, he's too small. I can't put Pons in there. But I put him at 5 before and turned it in before listening to the cornerback breakdown. But there were some really good points made about, and you'd know this even better than me too, that if you look at Indiana's opponents, especially down the stretch, he's going against both those Ohio State dudes. He's going against Boston. I mean, he's going against big time, and not only just big time, but huge wide receivers and shutting them down on the outside. I mean, Jeremiah Smith. He's way before your time, but I'm sitting there thinking, is he Darryl Green? You know, is he the little guy that he had like a 45-inch vertical that even if he's short, he still plays above the rim and handles these big dudes and is a ridiculous athlete? I just so quickly wrote him off as slot only because he's tiny, but he might be a lot more. He might be the exception.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's always an exception to the rule.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk a little bit more about some guys like that.
Yeah.
Who could rise up, maybe into the first round, fall out.
Like, people say this stuff all the time, but if he's 6 foot, I think he's cornerback 1 or fighting Delane and McCoy for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, he isn't, and he never will be. It's not like if we fix his feet or his hip. Right. He's never going to be 6. Right.
You sure can't. Let's pick up on that conversation and add some names. We'll talk about who do we think is going to fall out of the first round that's been mocked there a lot, who could climb into the first round that hasn't been discussed as much as we think they should be. That's where we'll go when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Rolling along here on this Thursday as it is draft, and then some more draft conversation as we're getting closer and closer, a week away from the real thing, and a lot of these questions and hypotheticals and speculation becoming answers. Matt Williamson.
Yeah.
Of which I'm very excited.
And just like now, I'm starting to feel like I really have a good feel for it. You don't. I mean, like, it's real easy to, like, there's a lot of groupthink involved more than ever because of, I mean, this sounds so old, because of this new internet thing, and, you know, right? You know, like, everyone just knows everybody's ideas.
Let me get my Mel Kiper Blue Book out here from the attic.
Everybody has some connection, blah, blah, blah. But this year's weirder than ever. I think one thing, I was asked this question today, because this is a weak draft, and it's a weak draft. It just is, especially at the top. Do you think there'll be less value on position or, and I answer it by saying this. I'm like, there's one line of thinking, I bet, of, okay, this isn't a great draft. Therefore, we're just going to draft really good players. I don't care what position it is.
Sure.
I'm taking Venga, I'm taking Love, blah, 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 even though those aren't the smartest positions to take. I'm just going to take good players, and I don't want to miss in round 1. But I think there's a totally different avenue that says, I know this isn't a great draft, so I'm only going to take edges and tackles so I don't have to go shop for them in 3 years on the open market.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I don't know what to think, but listening to that podcast today that Dane was on, he thinks there's like 8 guaranteed offensive linemen in the first round, maybe as many as 10, which kind of brings us to this conversation. Like, Brasantis could be a surprise first-round pick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
one of those guards, if someone falls, if someone's like, we need a guard, and we love this crop, and we know Ioane's not going to be there.
Yeah. if you're 30 or whatever, or 28.
And other than quarterback, offensive line might be the position group that gets reached for the most.
I think so. But people don't want to take guards and centers in the first round because of the Linderbaum fifth-year option situation. Sure. But I need a starting left guard, and the Steelers are a perfect example. I mean, he even mentioned, he's like, we talked about this in hour one, Steelers at 21, Chargers at 22, both need a guard. And they're like, it probably wouldn't be ideal for their board, but Bersantis could go there. You know, like he's like, I wouldn't be blown away. Or even Rutledge. I mean, any of those guards could go, whoever their guard they like best. And maybe if we redo our top 21, those guards should be in there. You got to pull people out, though.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, like, would you actually take them over McCoy?
I don't know if I would.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when there's so many tweeners in that offensive line group, too, that you can kind of get away with this guy could serve dual purpose.
And contrary to popular belief, left guard is a need. Don't get me wrong. But if you spent the whole year playing Hoffman and Anderson, I don't know that you'd be a disaster.
I don't think you'd be a disaster as long, though. The only thing that gives me pause is if you've kind of got two question marks on that left side of the offensive line.
And that's what you really would need to avoid.
Because I'd say, hey, if you got a good left guard and then Dylan Cook or Broderick Jones is the worst of your 5 starting offensive linemen, great.
It's a weak link position.
Or if you're going Hoffman and Anderson, but you've got a solid left tackle, Hoffman or Anderson is the worst of your 5 starters, absolutely sign me up.
Right.
You know, that's like, okay, this is my 5th ace starting pitcher, but he's a really good,
exactly.
You know, like we can live with that.
You're playing with
being
fire then
guy.
with injuries and stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, like Jones isn't ready or he's not good and Anderson gets hurt.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. I mean, trust me, they're going to draft an offensive lineman high. I mean,
it's so much to consider.
You don't have to convince me to take one, you know, but I don't know if I could take Bersantis at 21.
I couldn't at 21, but maybe at 30 if I'm one of these other teams.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. So I told you my guy that I think has a chance to, of the consensus, he's going in the first round, that could fall out. I think it's Messidor because of some of the age stuff.
I would actually pick probably the same guy if we only picked one.
And we kind of discussed that as well, too. I mean, he's 25. He was in the same high school recruiting class as Zach Frazier, who's now heading into. Yeah. When I saw that last night, like
I don't know if I could use a first-round pick on that.
I wanted to go back and look because, like, Zach was a fine recruit. But he was a 3-star guy. Like, he wasn't some super prospect. He's from small Fairmont, West Virginia. You know? He was a 3-star recruit who had offers. But I wanted to look. I was like, who are the guys that are ranked higher than him in that class? And I'm scrolling.
Was he one of them?
Akeem Messidor.
Okay, yeah. He was a big recruit.
He was a 3-star guy too, but he was ranked a little bit higher than Zach was. And I was just like, wow, man. Like, we're getting to the point where we're starting to talk about contract extensions pretty soon for Zach Frazier.
Yeah,
and this guy,
well established in the league at this point.
And this guy was still playing college football a couple months ago. Do you have any other ones that you'd like to for the fall out conversation?
Well, I think people need to think in this light too. And the Steelers are somewhat of an exception from what I understand. I am not in their war rooms or anything like that. But I do know Mr. Rooney is going to be a little more dialed in than many owners in terms of the football players. I'm not implying he's sitting there with a clicker watching every left guard, you know, and breaking them down. Of course he's not. But I think he's a little more involved than a lot of these owners that might own, like, Manchester United or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or
the
Home
family,
Depot or, you know, whatever.
The family that owns Manchester United also owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And we know, like, Jerry Jones is very involved. But what I'm saying is, in most towns, I think it's hard for whoever your decision maker is, whether that was Belichick or GM or whoever's finally in charge of making the decision, to go to the owner and say, I'm going to take Messidor in the first round. Okay, but why are you going to do that? Well, he's good at football. Like, I probably knew that part. But what about this other stuff? Well, what kind of track record do you have of 6-year guys at that age doing really well? Well, I don't really have any, sir. Like,
this is a newer phenomenon.
Yeah, like, well, I don't think you should take him in the first round because your seat gets real hot.
Yes, it does.
Like, we're not implying like Bain's not going to be a first-round pick, but if he was 85% of the player he is now, it's hard to go to your owner and be like, yeah, okay, what's his strengths and negatives? Well, he's a really good player. He plays hard. Love the way he plays against the run. Good dude. Okay, what's his negatives? Well, he's got unusually short arms. All right, well, who are some guys that have really succeeded in the first round with really short arms in his position? Oh, no one. I'm like, oh, well, why do we think he's going to be the first one in history? And why am I going to make him...
Why do we think he's Neil Armstrong and he's going to land on the moon all of a sudden?
And why am I going to make him the face of this draft? The 33rd pick is way different than the 32nd. It shouldn't be. It's so dumb, but... And it's a first-round pick, and that's all the news is going to talk about. And you know what I mean?
Something that
owners aren't cool with that.
Something that Dale used to reference when the Steelers would draft 20-year-old Devin Bush, 20-year-old Juju Smith-Schuster is like, you love these type of guys because by the time you're deciding to give them a second contract, they haven't even turned 25 yet.
Yes.
And by the time if you want to give them a third contract, they're still 28 years old, 27 years old. You get 12
years out of these dudes, right?
As opposed to Akeem Messidor, who will be about to turn 30 when you decide if you want to give him a second contract or not.
Yeah, and I think there are two lines of thinking on that nowadays because even like the Steelers used to draft a lot of young dudes. The whole league's starting to draft older guys. First of all, because the best players coming out are older.
They're staying in college longer because they're making money.
Right. And also, how well do these guys play as 20-year-olds? Like, Juju was great, but Bush wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing against 30-year-olds. They're playing against 32-year-olds. They're playing against...
grown men.
Yeah, Quentin Nelson and Cam Hayward.
Right. Dudes with kids and mortgages. And
yeah. Like, as much as we love Vega, if the Steelers draft Vega, and I don't know what this coaching staff would do, but I know what Mike Tomlin would do. His first snap in Latrobe would be against Cam Hayward.
Yes, it would.
And that's not Ohio State or the Big Ten at all.
Yeah, he threw Pat Freiermuth right into that fire. He does that with a lot of these guys.
I don't remember if you were covering the team then, but Artie Burns, every rep, AB. And he didn't win many of them.
He did not.
Not many would.
Not many people did.
Right.
No, you're absolutely right. It was
a different world.
It was the same way when Highsmith was drafted, right into backs on backers against Najee Harris. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's that kind. And when Najee was drafted, it was probably right into backs on backers against
I think TJ.
Or Bud Dupree or whoever it would have been at that time.
Yeah.
Matt, I have a candidate for you to climb because I in the beginning of this, so I said fall into the first round, fall out of the second or the first round. I don't think you can fall into the first round, so maybe climb into the first round. Malachi Lawrence.
Yes, I'm leaning towards like if it's a yes/no conversation.
And you see a couple mocks where he goes at the end of the first round to Buffalo or the
New
Patriots
England
or something.
31 or yeah.
But I bet you more than 50% of the time, probably 75% of the time, he's an early second round of these mocks.
More often than not.
For an edge rusher, I think he has all the stuff that you want. And we talk traits all the time this year, right?
He's a great one. He plays hard.
He's tall. He's big. He's got length. He's got athleticism. And as you mentioned, his pedal is to the metal 24/7.
And he gets off the ball and tested well. And yeah.
He's got the right height. He's got the right weight. He's got the right length. He's athletic. He is full speed, rocket ship 24/7. I am really starting to warm up to Malachi Lawrence. I have told this to you before, but it's definitely not a blessing. I don't know if it's a curse somewhere in between. I watch a lot of Big 12 football because I'm such a WVU fan. When it's guys like David Bailey or Fanu or Jordan Tyson, and I'm like, okay, is this guy really as good as I think he is? And then I go and I look at the big boards and the talent evaluators, and okay, he's not just bigger fish in a smaller pond. Malachi Lawrence was one of those guys that for a while I thought, okay, he's at UCF. Good competition, good school, not great. And he's a big fish in a medium pond.
Yeah.
But the more and more I watch him and think about him and listen to people in this process that I really trust.
Like, what don't we like?
What don't we like?
Yeah. So,
because if he was at Auburn instead of UCF or Florida instead of UCF.
Let alone if he was at Bama or Ohio. Close your eyes and imagine him at Ohio State.
He's a top 25 pick.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I very much believe so. And I wonder if Hurst is a lot closer being a first-rounder if he's at even Pitt or WVU, let alone
instead
Ohio
of Georgia State.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, he dominates those guys. It's a different conversation than the segment we started, but it's very, very similar. That I think they still do it, that Vegas and these betting sites will put out over under draft position. 18.5 is where you're likely to go. The two guys that I would go lower, but I mean earlier, are Lawrence and Blake Miller.
Yeah, Blake Miller's a good one.
Yeah. I just don't see many negatives with him either. I don't see A-plus traits anywhere. Super reliable, pure tackle, never misses time,
and maybe
plus athlete.
Maybe along with Venga, the only one of those top prospects that you go, this is exactly where he's going to play. There's no question of, is he a guard, is he a tackle, is he right, is he left? Maybe there's some of that with Monroe Freeling too. But
but still, he hasn't been as consistent through his career. Miller's got a ton of starts,
and
he's still young.
Earlier in the week.
And he's not the seventh-year guy.
4-year guy
26
who has 50-some starts.
It's nuts. So, I mean, he's really safe.
Yes.
Like, he's an easy sell to your owner.
Yes.
He's our right tackle. We need a right tackle. He's a right tackle, and he's
got 54 starts at a high-level program. And
I think he goes high. I think he goes above what people are projecting him to.
His chance of busting feels insanely low.
So, again, that podcast stuck with me because I was listening on the way here. But Dane said something really good that is absolutely true from my experience. He said, there isn't a descriptive word in NFL scouting reports used more often than the word adequate.
Okay.
Now, like,
I thought it would be instincts.
Like, people are probably like, adequate. I don't want to be adequate. If your dad's like, yeah, you're adequate. You're an adequate son. It's not exactly a raging compliment.
That's what my dad used to say to me when I would ask him, Dad, how do I sound playing this guitar riff?
That's adequate.
Adequate.
Right. But in terms of projecting someone from the college level to the NFL level, adequate's a compliment. He can adequately handle Cam Hayward. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
he can adequately diagnose defenses.
Right. And should get better as he does this as a professional, and does it full time. And I think Miller has a lot of adequate in a good way, adequate or above.
That's a very good way to describe it.
And I think you need to look at prospects that way. Like, if you can check that box of being adequate or better in most areas, you're going to go pretty high.
Because it does sound funny, you're right, but that's a pretty high bar to clear when you really kind of hash it out.
Yeah, it's a hard jump.
It sure is. So let us know your thoughts on that. If you've got anybody you want to throw into the conversation, someone that you think is going to get drafted higher than the experts predict, someone that might be lower.
McNeil Warren's one. I just don't know if 3 safeties can go.
So it's funny you say it. He was one other than Messidor that he was one other than Messidor that I considered, and I'm trying to think who my third was.
I'm scanning things.
It was
too.
I think it was one of the 6 wide receivers, maybe Cooper Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But
these new mocks,
Emmanuel McNeil Warren was the other one that I thought about.
Really gonna have 3 safeties,
and just some of the where exactly does he fit? Is he strong? Is he free? What like Thieneman, I think, has a clear-cut role, whereas there's some more questions about what puzzle piece exactly is Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Yep.
One more segment to go. You know what that means. YouTube comments, X, Twitter questions, all of your participation. We'll hit as much of it as we can before we get out of here. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment, you know what that means. It's your participation time. Let's buzz through as many of these questions, comments, concerns, and reactions possible in the next 15 minutes before we get up out of here.
Here's some mint chocolate chip discussion.
All right, so let's go right into it. A lot of people on the YouTube comments, apparently a mint chocolate chip civil war broke out yesterday.
I think it's a very decisive ice cream, apparently. Or that's not the right word. Divisive.
Yeah. And I had said, like, my daughter was not going to like it. It's going to taste like toothpaste. And some people came at me. I have no beef with mint chocolate chip ice cream.
I have a semi-beef.
It's just not at the top of my list. I said to these guys during a break, to me, it's like a Hershey. If I'm going to the gas station and buying a candy bar, it's like a Hershey bar. Do I dislike Hershey bars? Absolutely not. They're good. I'm just getting a Reese's Cup or a Butterfinger or a Fast Break. There's just other things I would choose in front of it.
It's never what you would pick off the menu.
If someone walked in here right now, if Tom and Mark Madden walked in here and were like, "Hey, some ice cream company brought us mint chocolate chip
there's an ice cream
out
truck and all they have is mint chocolate chip.
I'd go out and get one.
I'd probably get one.
Absolutely,
right.
but
but chances are, if they had anything else, I'd probably get the other one.
Correct. Well, no, I don't know about anything else.
Nothing with marshmallow or like birthday cake.
I am a big birthday cake hater. I'm with you. I'm with you
I'd be
on
like,
that.
you can keep it. If it's only a birthday cake, I'm like, no.
But I said this. We're out at training camp for 3-4 weeks, doing a lot of dining in the cafeteria, as people can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And they every day have 5 or 6 different ice cream flavors.
Mm-hmm. Scoop your own.
And I hit the mint chocolate chip once or twice every camp because I don't think I ever would. I can only have so much and I'd choose brownie, I'd choose cookie dough, I'd choose those things ahead of it, but I also can only have so much of those before I'm like, let's try something different.
Yeah. I will say the ice cream sandwich looked kind of appealing, mint chocolate chip.
Very good.
Because it's like, ooh, I've never seen those before.
Joby tweeted us and said, never buy green mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's like green beer to an Irishman. The good stuff is white, period, full stop. I love it, Joby.
Wow.
I love
green
it.
beer does not appeal to me at all either.
Same.
It's a turn off.
I mean, I was 19 in college once too, but then I grew up and discovered Guinness.
I was like, why would you put food coloring in my beer? Don't mess with it.
And I grew up and discovered Guinness, baby. Sudesh tweets and says, at what point should we consider extending Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, and Troy Faltanu?
I don't think you can for another year. There's
rules.
A
year from now.
Yeah, but as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, but
especially the center and right tackle.
But yes, as soon as you play that final game next year, that's got to be high on the priority list. Lou tweets and says, since 2002, so Omar Khan time frame there, Steelers' first-round pick has always come in for an in-person visit, and since 23, the second-round pick has come in for an in-person visit. Does that change who you think will go in the first and second rounds for the Steelers?
I can't fact-check that, but I think I'm pretty certain that he's correct on that matter.
I've seen some other people post something similar, so that sounds
send us similar
so
stuff.
that sounds right. Yes,
and I apologize. Someone sent us a chart of all their visits during the Omar era, and there's like first-round picks on there and whatnot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't look too much into that. I mean, it's still only 3 years of
fourth. We're going into the fourth draft. Yeah.
I think it's an indicator, but I would not say that's gospel yet.
Right. Like they didn't have Carnell Tate in for a visit. If he's there at pick 21, I bet you they'd take him.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They didn't have Maxey and Achor in for a visit, but I bet you if he was there at pick 53, they'd take him.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying to think who were the first round guys that were in Boston, Venga,
Lemon, Fanu.
I'm gonna say there's only
Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
I can't imagine him being the 21st pick though. Him and Johnson, the two that don't add up to me. The corner, who's probably going to go in the first round, but I don't think the Steelers are going to take him in 21. I don't think the Steelers are going to take McNeil Warren in 21. So really, there's only 4 names to pick from to be in the first round pick. Does it have to be one of those 4? I don't believe so.
No, and if we're doing Vegas odds, those would be the odds-on favorites,
more or less.
But it doesn't have.
But like they've been linked to Cooper a ton, and if he wasn't in, that doesn't mean they don't know. I'm sure they have I know they have really good Indiana sources. They might know all they need to know.
We'll see how
I wouldn't look too much into that. But it's a very good question.
Steeler Nation 920 tweets and says, is the public allowed near the dorm rooms at St. Vincent? I don't smoke, but I'd light up a stogie just to hear Ike Taylor tell stories. What are your guys' most memorable training camp moments? And what would you trade for A.J. Brown if it was an option for the Steelers? Okay, from the top, no, the public is not allowed near the dorm rooms at St. Vincent.
No.
There's fences, there's security, and if you try and even get close, someone on a golf cart or something like that will accost you quickly.
Yes. You can't get to the parking lot where the players' cars are. You can't. We park there too, but they're not worried about us. And there's also, we're not in the same dorms as the players.
Correct.
For people that don't know.
Yes.
And Ike wouldn't be either. Ike would be with us.
He'd be with us, I think, because Max is with us and
Wolf was.
And
smoking stogies
Tunch
or whatever.
And,
yeah.
Most memorable training camp moments, I think it's just some of those times that we tell, the times we're all sitting around the bonfire, the times we're all sitting at Sharky's, Tunch, Wolf, Dale, people like Pursuta that we get to hang out with a lot at those times.
Yeah, it's just the whole atmosphere, I'd say, of it all.
Just
right.
getting everybody together, I think.
Camp is a good word for it because you're kind of away at camp.
It is. If you asked me to say on field, though, it was my first year watching Antonio Brown and Joe Hayden just want to murder each other in every single rep, just going at it. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
It was to watch you should have to pay the price of admission in 2018 to watch those two just go at it every single camp practice.
I'll be honest. I mean, spending a year, more like a month or less than a month, around Aaron Rodgers is pretty cool.
That was
too.
a good one. That's a really good one too.
He's one of the best quarterbacks ever lived.
It's a really good one too.
Right.
What would I trade for A.J. Brown if it was a Steelers option? I wouldn't give up a ton at this point because...
Not as much that the Eagles would say yes.
Exactly right. I mean, if the Eagles are like, well, we'll give you A.J. Brown for pick 53, I would probably...
I'd say, I'll offer you 53.
Yeah, but...
That's like the best I could do.
Yeah, I think that's...
If they came back and be like, I need 53 in one of your fourths, all right, I guess you convinced me, but they're not going to do that. I don't know if they'll even get a first for him, but they're not going to get enough for me to give him. Yeah, I mean...
Good one here from Jonathan along the lines of the Max Iannature love and a lot of the conversation about his potential. How does Mad Max differ from Broderick Jones? And if Mike McCarthy likes to have 4 tackles on the offensive line, do you think he is more open to giving Broderick Jones a shot at guard? 2 good questions there from Jonathan.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot would have to happen for Jones to be in the guard mix. First off, Cook would have to beat him out of tackle. I mean, and... I assume that's going to be a left tackle camp battle, assuming Broderick's healthy. Well, first of all, he has to be healthy. Check one. And indicators are that's likely or, at least optimistic. But he'd have to lose the camp battle quickly.
You know what I mean? To be like, all right,
Which Cook then would have to be awesome.
Sure.
Which he might. I mean, I thought his tape was better than Broderick's last year. Maybe it's clear that he's the guy, but you'd have to move him in. You can't just move him in 2 days before the game in week 1. You'd have to season him there to some degree. Now, injuries could happen, and you get forced to do a lot of these things.
Sure.
And maybe it would work to some degree. It's just you'd have to have another tackle option too, So, okay, you draft Max or Proctor or one of those dudes, and your initial plan was play them at guard, and then maybe next year they get involved at left tackle. But you realize either they're not really suited to guard like you thought they were, or, holy cow, is he a good left tackle? Why would I not play him at left tackle? Right. Then something like that could force those type of moves. You know what I mean? But a lot of dominoes have to fall for that to happen. Just think of the logistics of it all.
And along the lines of the potential conversation and comparing Broderick Jones and Max in that regard, it's a good question. Here's a key difference, though. Broderick Jones started 14 games in his career at Georgia.
Yeah.
Mad Max started that many last year, and 14 the year before, and 5 the year before that. He has 33 collegiate starts versus 14.
That's a huge difference, and I was going to say that too, but I was also going to counter it by saying Broderick Jones started playing football way earlier in life than Max.
Ooh.
I mean, he picked up football in college.
In college, yeah. At like East LA Community College or whatever.
Where he's just walking around campus and someone's like, hey.
Dude.
I mean, he grew up.
What size cleats do you wear?
I don't know when
he
moved to America, but he grew up in Africa.
Yes.
Playing other sports. But they both have some rawness and a lot of God-given ability, if that's what you believe in.
And I can see if you're a Steeler fan and you're being like, I feel like I just heard this whole song and dance with Broderick Jones. I want something a little more sure. I understand that. I understand
that too, but they're also two different human beings. And, way back when, it was like 6 weeks ago, I posted a mock with the Steelers taking Freeling in round 1. Now, I don't think that's going to happen anymore, and I don't even think it's an option. Why on earth would we take a Georgia tackle that doesn't have a lot of experience? We've been down that road before. That doesn't mean the thought process then was wrong.
Sure.
And it's not like Broderick has zero value. We talk like this guy has no chance, too. It wasn't a faulty thought process here,
No, it was not.
Yeah.
You got to know history and consider history, but you can't let it dictate the future.
They're two different human beings, first of all, but that goes without saying.
Dorkman, becoming one of our regulars, asks, along the lines of you guys have, discussed how the draft could fall badly, could break badly for the Steelers or a given team. You take a guard in round 1 and all the wide receivers are gone in round 2 or vice versa.
Things can go really wrong.
He said, and he asked, you guys have kind of talked about it and I get it in round 2, but is there a scenario where you could see that happening in round 1?
That's why we do our top 21. If you're picking like 18, 19, 20, 21 on your top 21, things went badly. I mean, you'll never pick 21. There's no way that the worst 20 guys to get drafted go.
Sure.
The ones that hurt you the most.
Sure.
But if you're picking your 18th guy.
You could have a scenario where in the top 20 picks, Venga's off the board.
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5 wide receivers are off the board.
Could very well happen.
Right. I think that would kind of be the, situation for the Steelers at 21.
Now, I really like these players, but I wouldn't want to be forced to take, McCoy either. Because all your other picks then get detoured. Now I'm reaching for linemen and receivers in round 2 and 3. Sure. It's not a knock on McCoy. It's just the path to get to the best roster is a different road than the one you planned on.
Which is funny, actually, because Craig here, this transitions nicely into this question from Craig. Say the board forces you to pivot from going preferred wide receiver, offensive line, or offensive line, wide receiver, in your approach to the top 2 picks. What then becomes the plan for the order of positions drafted with your picks there? Because, it feels like corner or safety could be possibility based in round 1 off the
Todd
top
had
30 visits.
Todd had the Miami dude going in the
It's a great
second
question.
round.
It's a great question, Craig.
The beauty of it is you 3/3 and 2/4
So
that you could make someone an
there.
offer you can't refuse to move up and get back in the second round or whatever.
That's, I think, the answer is you start to get aggressive with those other 10 picks or 11 picks that you would have and move yourself back up some boards and find some guys that you like.
Yes.
RJ asks, who on the roster currently would you guys deem untouchable in trade conversations? He says, I think I would go with most of the defensive line, most of the offensive line, and maybe P.O. Wait, who's P.O.? I don't know if maybe he had a little typo there.
Should that be PQ?
PQ? That's what I was thinking. Maybe he meant to say Porter, and it just didn't type out all the way.
Okay.
Deem untouchable in trade negotiations right now.
There's some like Howard that you would never do that.
I'm going high. I bet you I could list them all on one hand, maybe a couple extra figures.
Because everybody's touchable. And I was going to say Howard just because, no one's going to give you enough to make it worth your time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And, I was going to say, okay, so Joey Porter Jr. would be one of mine.
Frazier, Faltanu.
But if the Raiders called right now and said, we'll give you the first overall pick for Joey Porter Jr., I don't know how I could say no.
I'm not sure there's anybody you'd say no to for the first overall pick.
Yes, but if you want to go within a realistic scenario.
Right.
JPJ, Frazier, Faltanu.
Cam's different.
Cam's different.
Watt isn't different to me. Watt, I can listen.
Off the year that he's just having, but if he comes back here and has 13
I also
sacks again.
Kind of more on the edge than I do at D-line and Cam's.
And that's why, too, maybe I would put Herbig in that conversation, but you're strong in that
room.
Right.
Again, if the Eagles said, I'll give you A.J. Brown for Herbig, well, we could talk about it.
Yes, yes, we could talk about it. It's really, though, JPJ, those 2 young offensive linemen, Frazier and Faltanu.
You could get, that's why I brought up Will Howard. You could get real deep. Be maybe the best offer you'd get for Jalen Warren is a 5th. Well, that's not even close.
No
so
chance.
That doesn't do me any good. I don't
and if
need
you
an
want
extra
Will Howard from me right now, I'm going to want a 4th.
I'm going to want at least a 4th or a 3rd.
Yes.
I want to at least see what he has, and no one's going to offer you that when he went in the 6th round and hasn't shown any tape to the rest of the league. So he's not tradable. Not being tradable is different than I won't ever listen. You know what I mean?
Well said. Well said. Last one of the day, quickly. Ian asks, my company planned our sales meeting the week of the draft in Charlotte. How should I respond? Option A, show up in full Steelers gear, and I mean including helmets, pads, and pants.
Oh.
Option B, quit my job. Option B, mouth guard. Option B, quit my job. Option C, cry myself to sleep.
Well, you can still watch the draft and listen to us.
Yeah, wait, is your sales meeting gonna be at 8:00 at night?
Right.
I don't think so, right? I mean, it stinks that I think he's
you
saying
do have
he
a phone,
can't.
right?
I think he's saying he was planning on being here in Pittsburgh and now has to be in Charlotte.
Part 2 of my response
which
was.
Stinks, but you know, what you do, Ian.
Well, then quit your job.
It's tough. No, you put your listen. As somebody
showing up in full
as
gear,
someone who's had to make plenty of sacrifices. You know how many
Yeah.
holidays and how many backyard brawls I've missed for this job, and
Yeah.
you put your big boy pants on, you drink some beers, and you deal with it. All right, that's how you get through with it. And then you
It
lose.
depends what you do for a living.
And then you
too.
lose to me at Halo 2.
Is that dude?
That's Ian. Yeah.
Okay. There was some ping pong stuff going around too.
There sure was. Emil was posting some stuff on his. We got a response from John Ledgerd on that stuff. I don't know if you saw that.
Did they go to college together?
They did,
I know they
yeah.
went to the same school.
Yeah.
Were they there together? Okay, cool.
I think Ledgerd was part of the ping pong extravaganza.
Okay.
We might have
something
to make
about you can beat you left-handed or whatever.
We might have to make a off-season like remote, like do a show somewhere.
Dude,
with
there's
some
that cool ping pong table
tables
when you walk in here.
Get Ledgerd
I
in.
bet we could get in there.
Get
yeah.
Emil in.
Yeah. I told
like
you
it.
my buddy's
I like
great
it.
at ping pong, was a great tennis player, and he's like, Matt, I'd beat you with a spoon. And he probably would.
Now wait, are we talking a teaspoon or like a big wooden spoon?
I was wondering, like a big wooden spoon, I think I'd be in trouble. But teaspoon,
I
don't
like
know.
your chances if he has to play with a teaspoon. Fun show today. We will close down the week tomorrow with our what's become a tradition here over the last month plus, the mock draft Friday. We're gonna do a full 7 rounds again tomorrow. I think we might as well.
All right.
I think we might as well. We'll have some fun closing down
That
the
might
week.
be our last full 7-round mock.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. So we'll have some fun with that tomorrow. You know where to get at us if you want to get involved, but that will do it for today. Big thanks to Nate Dogg on the 1s and the 2s, and to Mr. Tyler V. TV for keeping us nice and handsome on the video on the YouTube side of things. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.